Chapter 13. 5 months had passed since the verdict, and Annika seemed to slowly be getting back to her usual self. She still hadn't attended any church services, but sometimes she'd go to church activities with Cameron. Ping pong tournaments, dinner with the young adults, volleyball games on the sport court. She especially enjoyed playing bingo. She loved just sitting back, listening to the members banter back and forth, laughing and making so much noise the caller had to shush them every other minute. Yet she couldn't bring herself to attend a service again. Something, fear maybe, was holding her back. Annika picked up her phone, a message from Cameron on the screen. "Hey, tomorrow the youth and young adults from church are going to South Houston to feed the homeless, and then to Galveston to relax by the beach. You want to come?" Her brain instantly told her no. I'm not going to know what to say, and I don't feel comfortable in crowds, especially lately. But her heart told her yes. Time with Cameron, time with good, happy people, time to do something my parents would be proud of. Why not? Yeah, count me in. The next day, they were feeding the homeless, visiting with them, and serving them hot meals. Annika poured chili into a styrofoam bowl and passed it down their assembly line. Once everyone had been served, she heard an elderly man ask Cameron, "Could you please pray for me?" "Of course, sir." Cameron gestured for the rest of the group to join them. Annika followed along, placing a supportive hand on the gentleman, closing her eyes, listening to Cameron's prayer. Her heart ached. She had been so selfish the past few months. Here they were, with a man who didn't know when his next meal would be, who slept underneath the freeway. Annika had so much. Plenty of food, a comfortable and safe place to sleep. The list went on and on. This stranger could have asked for a sleeping bag, a warmer jacket, or a bottle of water. But no. He asked for prayer. Deep down, she knew she needed to do the same. When they finished praying, Annika moved away from the group, brushing away the silent tears. She felt a couple hands patting her, and within a moment, Cameron was there beside her. "You okay?" he asked. She choked on a sob, nodding. Silently, he brought her close and held her, knowing the best treatment for a hurting heart was simple. A strong hug from a quiet friend. A few hours later, they were in Galveston, relaxing by the beach. Annika and Cameron sat side by side, along with the others, near the shore, the water brushing up against their feet every so often. They had been silent for some time now, simply staring at the scenery, enjoying each other's company. But the waves reminded her of the joy she had had, and just like the waves, it would come and vanish all too quickly, teasing her that it was fleeting, never there forever. As if reading her thoughts, one of the guys said, "I love being out here by the ocean. Reminds me of God's mercy." Mercy, she thought. How so? Cameron nudged. It never fails. God's mercy is constant, forever coming in waves toward us. It washes away the sin, the dirt from our feet. The footprints, mistakes we've made, are erased from the sand, from His memory. The water gently pulls at us, urging us to come deeper in faith, to trust Him more. Annika was speechless. This group sees the good, the beauty in everything. They're so positive, like Cameron is. Like Mom and Dad were. Back at home, a few days after their trip, Cameron and Annika were exiting the mall. Night had fallen, the crescent moon smiling at them from above. "I'm telling you," Cameron said, "you should have bought those striped heels. They were so you." She shoved him lightly. "I told you I would only get them if you bought that polka-dotted tie." Annika peeked inside the bag she held. "I hope Crystal likes the lotions and stuff we picked out. I felt I should get her something for putting up with me for so long." Before Cameron could respond, a masked figure jumped out from the row of cars, his eyes wide. "Hey!" In an instant, Cameron took Annika's elbow in a firm grasp, pulling her back and planting himself in front of her, protecting her. "Give me your money, now!" the man commanded. Annika remained frozen, color draining from her face. "All right," Cameron answered in a calm voice. "Just put the knife away." Knife? Annika hadn't even seen a knife, with Cameron blocking her view. But the mere word made her insides twist, turn and knot so hard she could scarcely breathe, much less think or do anything. They could turn around and run, but Annika was afraid if she made a move, the guy would attack, and for some reason she felt rooted to the spot. She glanced to the left, then to the right, hoping to see someone who could help, who could call the police. Not a soul was in sight. "Come on, move it!" the man shouted, making Annika's stomach wrench. Cameron reached for his wallet. Annika started to do the same, pushing articles around in her purse. Keys, sunglasses, mascara, her gun. She had the ability to save them. Never bring a knife to a gunfight, right? But it was only money, and not even close to their life savings. Annika knew it would be smarter to give him what he wanted, rather than threaten him with a gun. She didn't want to hurt anyone, or do anything to escalate the situation. They should only fight if their lives were in immediate danger. The guy hadn't acted, yet. Give him your money, then pull out your gun and tell him to leave. With trembling fingers, she snatched her wallet, fished out all her cash, and handed it to Cameron, who transferred it to the man in black. But all of a sudden, the mugger lunged forward, the knife glittering in the parking lot lights. Screaming, Annika instinctively jumped back. Cameron managed to catch the guy's wrist, and now they wrestled for the weapon. "Annika, go!" Cameron yelled. She hesitated. Her body willed to run, to escape, but her heart, her soul kept her standing there, her hand on her firearm. This was it. All her time and training at the gun range had led to this moment. Now, she pulled out her weapon, dropped her purse, and racked around in the 9mm, a bullet now in the chamber, ready to be fired. Just like practice. Except your adrenaline's pumping, your hands are shaking and sweating, and the man you love is in danger. Yeah, exactly the same. "Drop the knife!" she heard herself shout, but it lacked the authoritativeness she had hoped it would hold. "Drop or I'll shoot!" She couldn't shoot now, though. Cameron was much too close to the attacker. They were still fighting over the knife. Maybe if he could shove the man far enough away, then Annika could have a clear shot. Maybe if she fired into the air, it would scare him and he'd take off. No, that'd be too dangerous. But if she didn't do something... Annika's heart felt like it was about to explode from exertion. Her head rang, her ears burned. Cameron groaned from another hard blow and fell to the ground. This was her chance. The man started moving toward Cameron again, the knife raised high. Annika jerked the trigger back. Though not hearing the gun go off, she must have fired because the mugger dropped. Bile rose in her throat. She had hit him. She had hit him. In a moment, Cameron was at her side. "Are you okay?" She stood there, motionless, eyes wide. What had she just done? Was the guy alive? Was he breathing? When she didn't respond, Cameron pulled her fingers off the gun and set it down on the ground. Holding her by the shoulders, he asked again, "Annika, are you all right?" Gasping, she went to her knees and retched. He rested a steady hand on her shaking frame, but his voice was hoarse. "It's okay. You're okay." He remained with her for a moment, but then started to rise to check on the mugger's state. "We need to call the..." Cameron stopped short, hand to his stomach. Annika's ragged breathing only intensified when she caught sight of the red stain on his shirt. That cut her to her core, far worse than any knife could. "Cameron, you're bleeding!" With adrenaline rushing, neither of them had realized he'd been stabbed during the fight. Annika tried to hold him up, but to no avail. She practically fell to the concrete with him. On her knees, she screamed for help, racking her brain for what to do, what to say. "Somebody please help!" She lifted her eyes, hoping to see someone, anyone walking by. When no one showed, she looked back at a pale and near lifeless Cameron. With her bare and shaking hands, she applied pressure to the wound. All she could see was blood. It was so hot, burning her palms. She hoped it would help him, but it scared her when Cameron moaned. She was hurting him, but she couldn't let him bleed out. "Please, God, not again. Please help me." A moment later, a small group of people came around the corner and now headed in her direction. "Please help!" she shouted, her throat raw. "Call for an ambulance, please!" One man did as she requested. Another checked on the mugger, who lay in a puddle of red. "He's alive, but he's lost a lot of blood." He stood shakily. What happened? But Annika's sole focus was on her friend, her best friend, whom she couldn't imagine living without. He's hurt badly," she stammered. "He was stabbed. Help me, please." One of the Good Samaritans knelt across from her and quickly removed 2 pieces of clothing from a shopping bag. One he slipped underneath Cameron's head, the other he pressed against the injury. To make matters worse, it began to rain, yet they'd have to wait there for the ambulance to arrive. It was too risky to try to move him. Cameron's eyes were still open, though they were unfocused and glazed over. but he was continuing to breathe, continuing to fight. Annika leaned over him, trying to protect him from the drizzle that was soon turning into a downpour of water. Brushing his hair back in a half-nervous, half-affectionate gesture, her other hand gripped his. "Hang on, Cameron. Help is coming." "Annika." He squeezed her hand, his expression still afar off, though his eyes never left hers. "It's okay." Okay? He had just been stabbed, and she had just shot someone. Nothing was okay. But here he was, practically dying, and he was the one comforting her. "Annika, His strength gone, his head went to one side, his eyes closed. "No, no, no, Cameron!" she screamed, her head lowered to his chest. "No, please, I can't lose you too." The clouds gathered together and cried with her, showering Annika Vantha with their tears. That's the end of chapter 13. Thank you for watching.